Hi everybody, this is foXnoMad, and today I want to help you travel smarter by telling you about the 4 best places to eat in Thamel, Kathmandu. Now the reason I'm making this video is there are a lot of places to eat in Thamel, but you probably don't have enough time or you won't be staying long enough to explore many of those different places. You don't want to go to the ones that aren't quite as good. So I've narrowed it down to 4 places where the food is very good, the service is very good, it's very clean, and it's not too expensive. So normally on a list like this, you tend to leave the best for last, but I'm going to start out with my favorite place in the whole Thamel area, and that's the Tibetan Nepali kitchen. The reason I like it so much is it's a little bit just in this little nook off the main street in Thamel, but the food is very, very good. It's very local. It's never too crowded. You can see the kitchen. It's right there. The kitchen is also very hygienic, and they've got a very wide range of different dishes with a lot of flavor. So the food tastes very good. If you want momos, they've got great momos. If you want French fries because you need a break from Nepali food, they've got plenty of that. They've got different Nepali curry dishes, and the food is just excellent. It's run by a family, so when you go in there, you've got this really nice atmosphere. So if you go back a couple times, they're going to recognize you, and it's just like really going into like a home kitchen rather than going into a restaurant. They've got a bunch of different, obviously, Tibetan foods as well. So they've got tentuk and tupka, which are these noodle-based brothy soups, which are a little bit spicy with black pepper, but then they've also got these 2 other spices you can add, this red sauce and then this yellow sauce, which you can add to the momos or those soup dishes to spice them up just a little bit to your preference. Tibetan Nepali kitchen is a place that I just kept going back to because the food was very consistently cooked, so it was always the same. It was never like it was great one day and it wasn't so good the next day. The food quality was very, very consistent. It's not very expensive, and they've also got raksi too, which is a type of anise-based alcohol drink which they serve in these wooden cups, which if you've been to Nepal, you probably will get very familiar with this if you like to drink. But they've also got that there, which is another experience that you can have while you're in Nepal. They've also got a variety of good teas and coffees as well, and it's just one of those places that became sort of the restaurant that I just kept going back to and back to. You know how you find those when you're traveling? There's a place that you just keep going back to. You just find somewhere that you really like. It's just got all the stuff that you want and you keep going back. Well, Tibetan Nepali kitchen was that place for me in Thamel. Now, comparing Tibetan Nepali kitchen to Momo Cave, well, they're very similar in a lot of ways, but they're also very, very, very different. Now, Momo Cave is very aptly named because it literally is sort of like a hole in the wall. You've got to walk through this small hallway. There's construction going on all around, and I don't know if that's renovation or if that's because of the earthquake repair that's still going on years after the earthquake in Kathmandu. I'm not quite sure, but you go into this place and it's a little bit dark and it's a little bit cramped and it's small. And when I went there, there was nobody there. It was a little bit early in the day, and it doesn't look like a place where you should eat. It doesn't look like a clean place to eat. It sort of will make your traveler radar go off a little bit, but trust me, it's one of the best places to eat in Thamel. So you go in, it's run by a family, and the prices indicate that it is a place for locals and not really for tourists. The prices are at least 1/3 of what they are for all the major dishes anywhere else you'll find in Thamel. You go in, nobody speaks English, but they'll get the point. If you know what the traditional Tibetan or Nepali foods are, you can just point at a menu, go in and order those, and they'll make it all fresh. You can see that they even grind the garlic literally on the spot before they actually cook anything. So everything is made to order, and it takes a little bit of time, but the result is just excellent, excellent momos, of course. And also they've got tupka, which is a soupy broth from Tibet, which has these thin noodles. They don't have the flat noodle variety, which is the tentuk. So you can have that, especially if you're there in the winter. It's going to really warm you up, and it's really hearty. But the momos are just absolutely incredible. When I was there, there were a lot of locals who did show up at the end of my meal, and I realized that this is really a local place to eat, and it's a really nice find in Thamel where you don't have so many local places because it's so tourist oriented. There's so many different tourists that are coming to that part of Kathmandu that you don't really have these local spots to eat, but definitely Momo Cave is one of them. You absolutely need to try it when you're in Thamel. So now going on to a place which I'm just sort of injecting into this top 4, which is Himalayan Java, which is a chain. You do see a couple of them around, but they've got really good coffee. They've got a lot of good baked dishes as well. The cafes are very large and they've got all this open space, and they've got free Wi-Fi as well if you want to work. So you do see a lot of people with their laptops open working, and they've got all the coffee, caffeine-based, tea-based drinks that you could want. It's got a great selection. It looks very modern. It's a nice sort of quiet place to hang out and relax, maybe if you need some coffee. So if you see any of these Himalayan Java, there's one by Durbar Square. So if you walk by the Durbar Square, there's one literally facing the square. There's one in Thamel, and there are a couple other in the city. So if you see one of those and you just need to take a break, those are definitely a place where you can get some juice, coffee, or tea, a sandwich maybe, and just sit down and kind of relax. And now staying in the more modern fusion type of cuisine, type of place to eat, there's OR2K, which is a really weird name. Maybe I'm missing the point, but it is a place that has a lot of different fusion, vegetarian and vegan meals. You've got a lot of different things like veggie burgers and a lot of different soups, and they've got alcohol as well. So you've got all this different mix of things. They don't really have traditional Nepali foods, I would say. It's more of a fusion place, but if you're vegan or vegetarian, all of these places will have vegan and vegetarian options for you. But OR2K definitely has some of the best vegan and vegetarian options, especially if you want something that's a little bit more bready or that's a little bit lighter on your stomach, or if you want to take a break from curry-based dishes or so on, then OR2K has a good selection. The service is pretty fast, so it's pretty decent. It's a lot faster than these other places that I've mentioned so far. And as you walk in, you'll take your shoes off. You'll notice that there aren't many tables with chairs. Most of the tables are sort of low lying on the floor, so you have to sit on the floor. So you're going to want to note that if you've got knee or back problems, you're going to want to wait for a table or maybe reserve a table ahead of time. But other than that, it's a pretty comfortable place to sit and eat. And it's really popular, as you can see, with a lot of foreigners, and for good reason. It's got good hearty meals. It's a little bit pricier than some of the other places I mentioned, but it's not too expensive. And the final place is a place called Ling, which has a lot of different, again, Nepali and Tibetan foods. You see that combination a lot, and those might be more interesting to you in the winter, especially because of all those brothy soups that are going to help keep you warm. They're not too spicy. They're a little bit flat if you want them to be. They've got a black pepper kick, and you can add black pepper or more peppers and spices if you want. But it's sort of that winter food that's going to be very hearty for you. Ling is a place that it probably would have been my favorite place had I not been to Momo Cave and Tibetan Nepali kitchen. The reason being is, although the food is very good, it doesn't have the special quality that Momo Cave does, with that homemade feel, or the sort of polish that Tibetan Nepali kitchen does. So Ling is one of those places that's just in the middle. It's a place that you're really gonna like, especially if you like those first two places that I mentioned. It's got a whole bunch of different curries and Tibetan foods. It's got a whole bunch of different soups, and of course it's got momos. It's got a lot of seating area too, so it's on 3 floors. So it's one of those places that if you can't find seating in the other places, they're probably going to have a space for you to sit there because it's such a large restaurant. So it's a place that you'll definitely want to check out when you're in Thamel. Now there's a couple of other honorable mentions. There's Black Olive Cafe, which has a pretty good selection of juices in particular, I noticed. And the coffee is very good there. It's got a large outdoor seating area. It's got seating indoors as well. And the breakfast there is particularly good. So if you're looking for a good breakfast, I would check that one out. And right next to OR2K, there's also this coffee bar, which is literally a coffee stand where they have coffee fresh every day starting at 7 a.m. And I really recommend that you stop by there. The coffee is very, very good. It's a young kid who's working there most of the time. It's just sort of on this corner and it's sort of open. So you've got just like this open desk, you order your coffee and you're good to go wherever you're going in the rest of Kathmandu. If you are traveling in the other parts of Kathmandu, you want to check out some of my videos I'll link to in the description below on what you can do in Kathmandu for the rest of your stay. Thanks very much for watching. Let me know what some of your favorite places to visit in Thamel are, where the best places to eat are, some places that I may have missed. Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'll have new videos for you every week. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Which is also bait. They've got a black pit in Nepali now. Problems this sort of, but others if you want as